Alright, so in this question, they're telling us that the circumference of the circle is 8 pi. They want to know what is the area of the circle. Well, circumference, this is basically perimeter of a circle, how long it is around. And the way we find that is based on this wonderful relationship between the diameter and the perimeter. It tells us that take any circle, right? That's my circle. And you draw a line through the center, a diameter, right, from one end to the other. However long the diameter is, and that should be straight. Sorry, I don't have a straight line tool here. Right, whatever that diameter is, well, let's say it's x. That's our diameter. D for diameter. Well, then the perimeter of that circle, the length around it, is always about a little bit more than 3 times longer than that diameter. That's why circumference is found by taking your diameter and multiplying it by, well, not 3 exactly, but pi, right? Because you take the diameter, multiply it by pi, and you get about the length around the circle. And often you might see this written as 2r times pi, or they rearrange that, so it's 2 pi r, right? Or about 6, this is a little bit more than 6, right? 2 times 3, pi is about 3. 2 times 3 is about, 2 times pi is about 6, so about 6 radiuses. And that makes sense. If it takes 3 diameters, right, to complete the perimeter of a circle, and every diameter is equal to 2 radiuses, right? Split it in half, radius and radius. That's where this connection is right here. Instead of writing diameter, we're writing that it equals 2 radiuses, because the radius is half diameter, right? And here we're using the commutative property to rearrange like this, but I'm just saying this makes sense because if it takes 3 diameters to complete the perimeter of a circle, about pi diameters, precisely pi diameters, well then it would take twice as many radiuses to complete the perimeter of the circle because the radius is half as long as diameter. So it's about 6 radiuses, or exactly 2 pi radiuses. Anyway, they want to know what is the area of the circle. So what are they telling us? Well, they're telling us the circumference equals 8 times pi. Well, what does that mean? Well, if we look at our formula, where it's diameter times pi, that means that 8 needs to be the diameter, right? Because we're taking the number 8 and multiplying it by pi, and that is circumference. Well, that means that 8 is your diameter. If you just look at the structure of the formula, you can almost see it. So they want to know what's the area of the circle. Well, the area of a circle, right, you take pi and you multiply it by the radius and times the radius, or simply pi r squared. This is based on the idea, of course, that if you have a circle and you draw a radius square, which is just a square where each side is the radius, right? 1 square certainly does not fill that circle. 2 doesn't, 3 doesn't, and 4 is too much. You can see, with the rough sketch, that 4 would be too many, right? Because you have these gaps out here, and the squares would be larger than the circle. Well, how many squares does it take to fill a circle? Well, exactly pi squares. And that's what this is saying, because we have pi radius squares, and that equals the area of a circle. So that's just 2 more steps, right? We half this number 8, and the radius is 4, because the radius is half the diameter. And if you wanted to use a formula to solve that, you can use this one right here, where 8 equals 2r, divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so 4 equals the radius. Okay, well here in the area then, our area equals 16 pi, right? Because 4 times 4, the radius squared, is 16. And we're solving this in terms of pi, so my answer is C, 16 pi. Just be aware, it's not D. Here they're taking 8 and squaring the diameter, but when you're finding the area, you square the radius. Alright, hope that helped.